He was hoped they could assist him in telling the boy the news. He was surprised to learn that they would deceive their own child. This teenager was led to believe that following surgery, he would recover completely. Later, Frost made an effort to speak with the parents. They declared that since it was their child, they would make the greatest choices for him. Frost attempted to speak with Lennox. According to her, parents have the authority to determine what's best for a patient who is too young. Archer thought the choice was incorrect. He advised Frost to follow his gut. Lennox was irritated by this. They had made the agreement to stay in their own lane at the beginning of the day. Oddly enough, despite everything, their lanes eventually crossed. Each of them was attending to a patient who had the same illness. A tainted batch of cannabis caused their illness. The farmer was one among them. The second customer attempted to remove it from her system prior to a drug test. As soon as the doctors determined their shared cause, they were able to treat both. Frost followed Archer's instructions as well. He explained his condition to the son. Frost was punched by the boy's father. If Frost hadn't stood up for him, he would have been arrested. Frost was no longer wanted to be their doctor by the family. In order to prevent tempers from rising once more, Frost was prepared to move on from the situation. There were other doctors who had regrets besides Frost. Ripley appeared before the group. He refused to claim innocence. He refused to acknowledge his culpability. He never mentioned Sully once, and there was a good reason for it. It is determined that Sully's cancer is terminal. He was down to a few months. Ripley had no desire to spend those few months behind bars. He decided to keep his pal safe. He even intended to report himself for assaulting Paul. Asher managed to put an end to that. Meanwhile, Asher had a challenging patient. She was seeing a pregnant patient who had stopped taking her medicine for schizophrenia. The woman posed a risk to both her child and herself. She nearly murdered them both. Even though Asher kept the patient alive and shielded Ripley from harm when she told Sully what Ripley had done to defend him, she may now have brain damage. At that point, Sully gave himself over to the police.